So this team, under Stephen Kearney and Wayne Bennett, prepared to do the impossible on this.
If they're as well prepared to play football tonight as they were for the haka, we're in for a performance.
There it is, the New Zealand haka, and the Kiwis go back into their huddle.
One thing I am hoping for is for them to get away to a better start than they did in the centenary test. They were down 22-0 when they looked up at the scoreboard at half-time. Cameron's not the captain tonight, but he's done an admirable job as deputy.
This is a feature of the New Zealand team over the last few seasons. It won't be the first time or the last time you see them in a huddle this evening. Again, they hold up while they have another little chat and pull themselves together, hands in the middle. We're all together. Promises are made. Now they have to deliver.
Supporting the National Breast Cancer Foundation and
Paul Gallen
and Benji Marshall
locks the scrum.
Let's hear it here in the Sydney Football Stadium.
Petro Sivanasiva, one of the two props at Graham Lowe, the former Kiwi coach, said maybe the use-by date of Price and Sivanasiva has come and gone. I think many, though, here in Australia believe they're still the best available, and the birth certificate doesn't really become an issue. Ashley Klein, Australian-born, based in England Super League, is the referee. We're underway. First match of the World Cup for Australia and New Zealand, and here is Price, the fifth eldest player ever to play Test football. And now for Sivanasiva to the 20-metre line. Cameron Smith on for Gallen, and Gallen will play the ball 25 metres away from the Australian line. They're running towards the southern end. That's Tate playing in the number 5 shirt from the New Zealand Warriors. He and Stephen Price, of course, brother-in-laws, and back in the familiar Australian colours. This is Gallen, as Australia set about completing their first set without mistake, and Price sprains it up and gets it to the halfway centre ground. Right side for the headgear, the green headgear of Thurston, to reach down, pick it up, put a kick on it, put good weight on it. And Hohaya, he gets a lucky bounce. It just dribbled and trickled its way to the line. You could almost hear his heart palpitating there as the ball went over the dead ball.
The warning sign there for New Zealand with Paul Gallen. Looked like he was well and truly wrapped up, still managed to get an offload. And he's got to die before they take the pressure off him as they work it out now. That's Sam Perrott, centre field, 35 out from his own line.
Talking of the centenary test, he could walk from the field with his head held high. Sam Perrott, he had a wonderful game. He made a very high tackle count, if memory serves me correctly, Perrott that night, playing on the wing. The 13 is Jeremy Smith, who captained New Zealand for the first time last weekend against Tonga, a match that the Kiwis won and won easily. The 12 takes it ahead. It is Sika Manu from Melbourne, and he will play the ball 38 away from the Australian line. He debuted last weekend in that same match. Right side play, Marshall doesn't do much with it, just it catches and passes it and gives it on to Luluai, and it's gone down and bounced up for Billy Slater, and Slater's on the kick return, running away and running backwards from Matai and Mannering. So not like Slater really to give ground, but he did in fact lose about 5 metres from the time he took the ball. Stewart got his first touch. This is Inglis now towards 30.
Ray, just looking at the defensive lineup here with this New Zealand side, Jerome Rapati, the number 4, is actually playing at left centre, which means Steve Matai, playing out of position on the right, will be marking Greg Inglis. So it's Rapati on Folau, and it's going to be Matai on Inglis.
That's rather strange, because it was one of the features of the grand final, Matai on Folau. And I was looking forward to that confrontation again as the ball is drilled down towards the line, and this is Perrott bringing it away.
It might not stay like that. They might swap over as the night goes on, but they're both left centres with their own club. Rapati's got first taste tonight.
Here's Ohio with a little scoot away from dummy half. And Lance Ohio, who deputised for Wade McKinnon in that Warriors team in the #1 shirt, he's not going to let them down, I don't think. I don't know about under the high ball. That might be a problem for him. New Zealand with Vatavai, the only remaining player from the Kiwis' 2005 Tri-Nation success, the only survivor of that squad in this team tonight, as Slater uses Monahan. First time in the green and gold. Gets away from one, but he was crabbing across the ground. Tate is with the ball on the 30-metre line, Australia's end. So the Kiwis strong in the opening exchanges. No mistake football, the order of the night as Israel is tackled on the 40-metre line. And now LaFranchi losing his dad on grand final day. A big night for Anthony LaFranchi then, as it is for this fellow, Jonathan Thurston, who I told you about that tragic death of his uncle just last night in Brisbane. Now for Lockyer, now they meet them, and the challenge is on. A Stewart is tackled 25 metres away from the line, pulled down by Tate over there. Now it's come away, a lofted ball. It's gone on to Lockyer's boot, and it's gone high. It might be too deep. No, yes it is. It's a big, big bounce. But it could have done anything. This rugby league ball, it can do exactly that.
Well, a real difference in the kicking game so far. This one from Australia had them in all sorts of trouble. Ohio was looking at Vatavai. He was looking back at Ohio. Fortunately, the ball bounced correctly for them and went dead. First two kicks from New Zealand been pretty ineffective. As Kalis takes it forward from the restart, picks up 10.
So Nathan Feen, legitimately a part of the New Zealand side tonight. He was the centre of Granny Gate a couple of years ago, but now he is, under the residency rules, qualified to play for New Zealand, the #9.
Looking at the Australian lineup now, Ray, and Anthony LaFranchi and Glenn Stewart, the two back rowers, they like to play on the right-hand side of the field. It's Glenn Stewart that's had to move to the left for Australia, so he plays out of position for you Manly fans looking for him tonight.
So Marshall giving it on, Lulawai at second receiver. So we've found so far tonight, it's been Marshall at first and Lulawai at second, and Tate it is who puts a kick in. It's gone down and found touch. A bad trick really. He was fairly close to that eastern touch line.
Peter, it must be one of the things, an awkward thing about playing rep football, that sometimes players do have to play out of position to what they normally do with their club just to accommodate for another player.
Yeah, they're happy to do it, no doubt, but I think sometimes there's a little bit of an overemphasis on left and right. You know, I think if you're a centre three-quarter, you can play either side. If you're a back row forward, it shouldn't make too much difference. I guess you're looking at what's suited to the style of play you have, whether you've got a left foot, right foot step, how you like to offload the football, and no doubt Ricky Stewart has assessed that, and that's why he started with these players in the positions they are.
Gallen to play the ball. Back on the Australian 20-metre line. It's a short pass away for Sivanasiva to drive it up the middle. Comments from Peter Sterling and Phil Gould in the commentary box with me tonight. And this telecast, I'm led to believe, reaching a record number of nations around the world. As the ball is played by Stephen Price and they come short side, they go short with Lockyer, then they go quick across to LaFranchi, who takes the tackle and gets the ball away to Folau. Folau steps off his right foot, goes back in, picks up Lockyer. Lockyer goes away, gets it on to Tate. Tate takes the tackle, gets it to Thurston, and Thurston is tackled just inside 30.
That is brilliant football.
Cameron Smith now, long pass. They know they've got them stretched. Lockyer goes even longer. Inglis puts on the famous Fenn, puts a kick on it. They might score Australia, but the referee has ruled knock on.
Yeah, Greg Inglis, he lost the football. It was unfolding for Australia. They defended quite well, New Zealand. They did have numbers there, but once Inglis gets on the outside of a man, he's almost always going to win. There the ball pops out as he was trying to offload to Joel Monahan. A little bit of a let-off. They did cover quite well after some dazzling play from the green and golds.
This is Mannering, who was voted the player's player of the New Zealand Warriors for this year. Now for Sam Perrott. He's lost his partner in crime at the local club, the Sydney Roosters, with Amos Roberts heading to Super League in England. And the ball now to be played by Blair. Then for Feen, and he kicks it out of dummy half, and it's gone out on the full. Bad kick. Pressure comes back on New Zealand now.
Idea was great. Execution was awful. Kicked early in the tackle count there. The Australians had all their players up. Billy Slater wasn't where the football was going to land if the kick had have left truly off the boot of Nathan Feen. But they did learn something. They've been kicking under pressure. They decided to kick early when the pressure wouldn't be coming at them. But way too long.
Referee Klein not happy. And Australia win the scrum, and Gallen picks it up at the back of the scrum, and Thurston folded away to make the extra man on the short side, but it was Inglis who was tackled. Now we're with Sivanasiva, and he'll play the ball just inside the 30-metre line. Play back to Cameron Smith. Here's Glenn Stewart. The year it's been for the elder of the Stewart brothers, and a penalty goes to Australia. Penalty to Australia against the Kiwis for forcing the man trying to play the ball back down onto the ground.
It looks as though he's going to have a kick for goal. I've got to say, in the few possessions that Australia has had, they look as though they've got New Zealand outnumbered both sides of the field. It just doesn't seem as though the Kiwis are covering the field enough to match up on their opposite number. And there's been a couple of half opportunities on the outside. I think Australia will be keen to get the ball there as quickly as possible, as often as possible. And New Zealand have got to just mark up a little bit better than they're doing. They seem slow to reset and recover.
Speaking of slow, very slow, taking this penalty, Jonathan Thurston looking for a kicking tee. Try and get Australia on the board here. Glenn Stewart earning that penalty. One of those rare players to have played Test football before he's played State of Origin. As Ray pointed out, it's been a bumper season for him. Unfortunately, his brother Brett Stewart ruled out of the squad with injury.
It's been a great turnaround, really, for Glenn. I can remember him standing in the crowd with his dad watching Brett when he made his State of Origin debut, and you can imagine the envy that this brother of his in number 12 had at the time, thinking, how good would that be? Well, he's won a grand final since, and now he's got an Australian jumper. It's a great story, the Glenn Stewart story.
The kicking tee has arrived. In the old days, Rabbits, we used just to scratch around, get a little bit of dirt and put it on a bit of dirt to give it a kick. These days, they get the plastic tee taken out.
In those days, Ray, they were leather balls and toe pegs.
Mind you, you'd be flat out finding any dirt out there to make a mound. You'd have to chop up the nice turf. Looks immaculate, the ground.
John Thurston taking the shot. 15 in, 20 out from the eastern side of the ground. And Thurston from the North Queensland Cowboys puts first points on the board. Australia leading New Zealand 2-0.
The shot of goal successful by Jonathan Thurston. And the Kangaroos lead New Zealand 2-0.
First points. New Zealand back at the halfway mark. Thurston landing the penalty goal. Marshall's kick off, returned by Stephen Price. 12 metres out from the Australian line then. And Sivanasiva puts his shoulder behind the machine and pushes it down to the 20-metre line, and here's Gallen making his run out to the 30-metre line. The Cronulla skipper. Right side play for LaFranchi. And Anthony will play the ball on the 40-metre line. Well, he won't have to because there's a penalty being given by Klein.
He was able to run a long way there, Anthony LaFranchi. I mean, he just took it up off the dummy half, and they gave him 15 metres of space. And they do that to the Australian forwards, they'll eat them up. That's a beautiful kick. Look at this, he found touch 21 metres out. Australia right on the attack here. And with the international rules, the tap kicks are taken 10 metres in from touch, not 20 as we see in the NRL.
Sivanasiva again. native of Fiji, but opting always to play for Australia. Price, right in the centre of the ground, and pressure for the Kiwis here. Thurston, second man, catch past Gallen. Now Monahan thinks about his first try at international level. First rated to play for Australia since Jason Croker in 2000. Gallen tackled and put away by Matai, but he fell awkwardly. Gallen, it looked nasty. I don't know that there was any illegalities in there, but it was an awkward fall for Gallen.
Well, the crowd reacted on the far side. And it's Steve Matai, who was sent off in the test last season in October in New Zealand after 22 minutes for a high tackle on Mark Gasnier. They went on to lose that game 58 points to 0. Well, there's no doubt Matai has connected high here, and he will be penalised. And interesting to see after a glut of possession whether Australia will take the 2 or look to establish an 8-0 lead early. Captain Nathan Kalis called out, as to Steve Matai.
This will be a nervous little walk for Mr. Matai.
Yeah, I'm going to deal with it, okay? So
last year will be going through his head.
Okay, you've got to get him down. I'm going to put this one on report because it may have been contact with the shoulder first. Just be careful, all right? You know the drill.
Phew.
So Steve Matai, as Peter said, was sent off at Westpac in Wellington 12 months ago, and then they got beaten 58 points to 0, and there's no doubt it's a right-hand forearm high tackle. And he's on report, so he might be watching a couple of games from the grandstand as a result of that.
The Australians going for more than 2. Steve Price takes it off the restart, only a couple of metres out. They are on a roll.
So Cameron Smith goes back and then across for Thurston to Lockyer. It's second man to Slater and away to Tate, and Tate for the corner is short. Perfect camera work. Now from Thurston. Sivana-Seaver up the middle of the ground.
They've got them outnumbered everywhere here.
10 away from the black and white line. Smith back. LaFranchi on the charge. The Kiwis hang into the tackle with Manu delaying it as long as he could. Thurston, Lockyer, Stewart ducked out of the way. Inglis will score. There's the first try of the game. Greg Inglis, who starred in the centenary test. 6-0 Australia with the conversion to come.
And continues his great strike rate. A try, a test for Greg Inglis, and this wasn't an easy one. He caught this ball late. It was a cutout pass from Darren Lockyer, and I don't think Inglis expected it to be. All of a sudden it was upon him, late decision, and then stepped back on the inside, planted the football out. One-on-one that close to the line, he will score 9 times out of 10.
So you've got Cameron Smith, a dummy half, with a bullet-like pass. You've got Jonathan Thurston in the 7, who can shift it as quick as anyone. And then you've got this genius Darren Lockyer, who just knows how to give players on the outside space. And they're throwing the ball to absolute champions like this in Greg Inglis, Israel Folau. Joel Monahan's nearly got around them on the left a couple of times. Brent Tate's nearly got away on the right a couple of times. Inglis and Folau seeing plenty of ball. Lockyer and Thurston firing it across the field like bullets, and the New Zealand defence cannot keep up.
And unless the possession rate turns around, they won't keep up. 68% the Australians have had, up to 32 against New Zealand, and the New Zealanders had a fair bit of football in the opening 5 minutes. But for the last, 10 minutes, it's been one-way traffic as Thurston looks to extend outside the converted try.
20 metres out and 8 in from touch is coming back. Lovely. Another 2 points to Australia. They lead 8-0. There's been about 15 minutes of time gone. Sideline Matthew Johns.
Yeah, you can tell they've prepared very well, the Aussies, because the attacking shapes off the ball players are just beautiful. Have been all night. And look at this man, Inglis just steps on the inside of Matai and try. But the Aussies look very, very good, look super sharp.
And there you see Steve Matai, not adept at playing on the right-hand side of the field, easily wrong-footed by Inglis. I mean, he's an awesome task at the best of times. But Matai playing out of position there is not going to help his cause.
7-7 now. Australia the bookends together, and then they go to Thurston and then to Glenn Stewart, and off his left foot a couple of times, picking up his second row partner Lafranchi, and Lafranchi will play the ball just inside the 40-metre line. Cameron Smith with a dart out from dummy half, and they're up towards the halfway line. They've been so long without the football, the Kiwis, they're struggling to get any semblance of a defence line together. And this is Ohio with the ball back to the 20-metre line.
Well, Ray, the last time they had the football from memory, Nathan Fein kicked it out on the full. Seems an eternity ago.
Vatavai, 16 tries from 17 games this year with the Warriors. And 5 tries from his last 7 test appearances. From Manu Vatavai. This is Sika Manu. 35 metres away from their try line. As Kalis runs across towards his prop partner Blair. Fein did well. Mannering gives it on. Matai throws a dummy. Mannering stays with him. And Matai is tackled on the 40-metre line, tackled by Glenn Stewart in cover defence. Then it's away for Nathan Fein again. And Stephen Price, as always, puts in an attempted charge down, but it goes over the dead ball line, does the kick.
I heard Stephen Kearney, the New Zealand coach, interviewed during the week. They said if you could improve one thing to win this game, what would it be? And he said our defence, which surprised me a little bit, because the last 7 times New Zealand have played Australia, they've only averaged 10 points on the board. I would think you've got to score more than that to win test matches, and just a couple of sets of 6 with the ball tonight, it looked as though points might be hard to come by.
Brent Kite getting ready to come on as it goes to Lockyer, and they rifle this ball along the back line to Folau, and Folau is tackled on the 40-metre line. Sivanasiva is the front rower to come off to make way for a grand final hero, Brent Kite. So there's no sign of any relenting with the Australians. The personnel is just so good. Price standing, offloading, Smith. That's Melbourne on Melbourne. Jeremy Smith putting a cartwheel on Cameron Smith. Now Thurston taking it right on the end line and then got a ball away, but Stewart couldn't handle it. It will be knock on. And a scramble pack, New Zealand feed, New Zealand loose head just inside 30.
They're at you everywhere, aren't they? New Zealand going to the bench now. Looks like Greg Eastwood. Jonathan Thurston, he loves that dummy and surge into the line. And even though he's your halfback, he'll take on the big men and still able to get the ball away. Extremely strong. Well, speed is power. If you're fast, you're strong, and you can just see from there he's got no fear about running into bigger men.
The Kiwis. Sam Perrott just outside his own 30-metre line. Matt John sideline.
Yeah, look, penalty to the Kiwis. Here's their chance. But just on Steve Matai, I can tell you at the moment, he's really struggling with that thumb. He hurt it in his first handle of the football, and he's been really, really struggling. You saw when Inglis chopped on his inside shoulder. He just couldn't hold him, so keep an eye on Matai.
He seems to come out of every match, Steve Matai, like a train wreck. He's taken some enormous injuries from the field, and you'd think, well, we won't see him for a while, but he keeps bouncing back. Played by Eastwood, and Kalis goes on to Blair, the number 10. Very good player, Adam Blair. Fein behind Eastwood to Lulalawai to Mannering. Mannering is at the 10-metre line, and Thurston's got hold of a leg. Inglis comes in over the top, but the chief tackler was Cameron Smith. They're 10 out from the Australian line. Lulalawai, a show and then a give, and Kalis tries to drive. The Kiwi claws through the middle. Now it's gone away. Fein, Lulalawai, now Marshall. Now it's gone on to Manu. Marshall assembling the troops towards the right-hand side, the middle of the ground. They go short side. The kick from Fein was bad again. It didn't have any power about it. And eventually it was just fallen upon by Brent Kite. Now it's with Slater.
Well, again, the idea wasn't bad. They had Thomas Lulalawai and Benji Marshall calling it on the other side, trying to fool the Australians. So Fein, we might catch them by surprise down the short side. But their kicking game's been atrocious. On the back of no football, their kicking has been awful as well. Every part of their game under pressure. Stephen Price leaves the field.
Thurston away from dummy half, and there was no marker. Lockyer didn't know whether he was a marker or back the 10 metres, and now it's Lockyer. A sign of tiredness, and it's a sign brought on by the 64% of possession held by Australia as the ball goes dead over the southern dead ball line. It's 8-0 in favour of Australia, with Inglis the try scorer.
It's a great atmosphere here, Rabbits, isn't it? Lovely ground for this size crowd. And as we saw in Townsville last night, people right into the World Cup, keen to get out and see national colours go round.
And high shot is a perfect example of the view we get as commentators here. There's nothing better than elevation. And here you can see the gaps opening. You get a beautiful view of the game. Now Monahan brings it out to the 40-metre line. Nathan Feen, the 9, goes to seek Manu. Manu is on the halfway line. 3 men from Australia involved in the tackle, but LaFranchi was the front man. Now Kalis. They've had some young captains, and Kalis has been one of them. Their coach, Stephen Kearney, would be their youngest captain ever, I fancy. I think Kearney captained the Kiwis at 21. He'd only just come through President's Cup at Western Suburbs when he led the Kiwis, I fancy, over in England. Here's Monahan.
Went on to play 45 Test and World Cup games for New Zealand as they are penalised for a high tackle. Spoke about the season that Glenn Stewart has enjoyed. Josh Perry out there now, won a premiership with Newcastle. Changed clubs. Premiership winner with Manly. Joel Monahan has taken height.
What a bench Australia's got. You've got Brent Kite and Josh Perry, the 2 front rowers from the premiership winners. Anthony Tupou, who can play anywhere in the forwards, and Kurt Gidley, who can play anywhere on the field. A great bench for Australia. There'll be no respite when they take the field.
LaFranchi loses it, and it's a strip.
Relax, Sam's taking it out.
And there'll be no query about that with the video referee. We're playing under international rules, so the video referee doesn't get a say. It's 5-1 the penalties to Australia now.
And this is going to kill New Zealand. They've virtually invited Australia all the way down into attacking zone. And the last time they were here, they never looked like holding Australia out. Australia went zing, 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 and England scored.
This is Josh Perry. 7 metres out from the Kiwi line. I thought you were going to break into song there for a moment. Now it's away to Thurston. And Thurston goes short to Stewart, who bumps away and then eventually takes the tackle of Lulawai, the 17 jumping in. That was Rapira. Thurston 10 out, gives it back for Perry, and Perry is tackled 3 metres out from the line. 2 looks at the line on this set for Perry. Smith for Thurston, for Lockyer, choice inside, outside, goes to Slater, goes away, and they're in the touch. I think Folau might have gone over the sideline.
He's lost the football, Ray. The referee has already ruled that the ball came out. Scrambling defence. Again, beautiful move. Body's in motion. Lockyer going second man. Billy Slater trying to set up his outside Melbourne teammate in Israel Folau, but wonderful job from Jerome Rapati to come across. The ball comes out. Great decision, Ashley Klein.
Good defence by the Kiwis. Still that possession percentage is high though, 62% for Australia. Here's Sam Perrott getting rid of Glenn Stewart, who went sliding away a good 5 metres on his knees. And now it's a penalty going to New Zealand.
We've got to see a little bit more ball movement from New Zealand. They're not going to beat Australia simply running from dummy half and hitting it up with their big forwards. Kangaroos will just eat that up. They've got to bring the likes of Hohaya and Benji Marshall into play by moving the ball around a little bit. Take some chances.
Well, this is their first chance, really, because they've been too tired to move the footy. But they've got back-to-back sets now. They go wide with Rapira, centre field, tackles up their sleeve, 25 out.
Feen. And away to Blair, and Blair is taken by Thurston and Stewart. 10 off the Australian line. They come left side, Lulawai, a flying Marshall. They're going to make it, are they? Yes, Sikamanu! Debuted last weekend against Tonga. The Melbourne back rower. Manu has scored against Australia at the Footy Stadium.
And it's a great run from Sika Manu. Nothing going to stop him. Came back on the inside. Benji Marshall coming across. Simple drop into a gap between Paul Gallen and Josh Perry and beats a couple to score under the posts.
And the Kangaroos now lead New Zealand 8 points to 4. The Kiwis with a kick to come.
Well, that's a very good scoreboard for them now, dare I say. But you've heard us referring to this percentage, and you've got it because it's most important. And starved of possession, getting nothing but defensive practice, they're going to be behind by 2 points. Stephen Kearney and Wayne Bennett will be delighted now with the scoreboard, given that they've been playing catch me if you can football, and now when Matai converts this try scored by Manu, they're going to be only 2 points behind after all of that. Manu, the try scorer, has he got a problem with the neck or the back of the head there? He's strong in the legs, isn't he, Manu?
You'd need a sledgehammer to stop him, especially after scoring his first test try. Matai looking to keep this perfect record off the boot, now 3 from 3.
He's still clutching at that wrist. It's 8-6, and there's the try scorer. Matthew John sideline.
Oh, he's such a good player, this bloke, Singamano. I've seen him play up front. I've actually seen him play 5'8", and he's played terrific. And there's his power. Future of New Zealand. Terrific player. Nice play by Bench too. He looks in the mood, Marshall.
Well, it's really the first time they've got him running with the ball. He ran onto that spiral pass, got going sideways. The defence laid off him, and that created the angle for Manu. Got to get the ball to Benji Marshall. Look at this.
Speaking of Manu, that was Vadavai knocking over Brent Tate.
And this is Sam Rapira.
Oh, Brent Tate looked like he'd been hit by a bus. What's this? Get out of my way.
Did somebody get his number? Now it's put down by the centre three-quarter, Ropani. And Australia come up with cheap ball, 40 metres away from the Kiwi line, and Gallen is put away. Down by the 15, Greg Eastwood. Play in the centre of the ground. On the Kiwi 30-metre line. Blair involved with Rapira, tackling Thurston. Smith goes to Stewart. Runs an arc and tries to go around them and behind them, and then it's gone to LaFranchi. And he will play the ball 28 metres away from the New Zealand line.
Tupou on for Australia.
Here is Tupou, the 16, running a short side play. And held up 10 metres away. Danger again for the Kiwis. They've only just finished celebrating a converted try. Thurston goes second man. Lockyer catch pass. Inglis in. Slater goes backwards for Monahan. Monahan's got them isolated. Puts it over the line. Monahan's confident. Referee wants to have it inspected. But I think Joel Monahan has scored a try on debut for Australia.
Well, he's got no doubt that he's got the football down. The referee has asked about an obstruction. That will be looked at upstairs. But New Zealand may have paid the ultimate penalty for not getting to their kick after scoring their own points at the other end. Jerome Rapati losing the football. Second man play. The New Zealanders in no man's land on the other side. The inside pass will come back in here to Billy Slater. I can't see any obstruction there. The tackler in Perrott was just going in to tackle a man. And it looks as though Matai has been unable to stop Monahan from getting the football down. Rejoined the Canberra club after a few seasons with the Roosters. And may well have got his name on the scoreboard at test level for the first time. We'll get a different angle.
It's pretty hard to see how they can deny this as part of the football appearing to beat the defensive efforts of Matai, strong as they were. That's Blair in 10.
Well, the best man to judge here is the touch judge on the far side. The ball's down there. It's a try. The touch judge on the other side of the field should see this clearly. Should be able to tell the referee that he's got the ball down. Beautiful play by the Australians. I like the way Cameron Smith is running a long way across field from dummy half. and then the decoy runners are really chewing up the defenders.
Well, this you would think would have to be either a benefit of the doubt or a ref's call.
Steve Ganson.
Go and ask the linesman on the other side of the field. He's got the best angle.
Steve Ganson is the video referee, and I can't understand why he's taking so long. I would have thought it was a try for sure.
I would think benefit of the doubt.
He'll give it back to the ref, I think.
It's a try.
You're right about the touchy on the other side of the ground, but...
Well, he'd have the best view of all. Just go over and ask him. I'm sure he'll have a view.
Well, that was the job of the referee, to go and ask him. He didn't even look like asking
I
him.
didn't ask you to go and ask him. I said just go and ask him. I was referring to the referee.
Well, if it's a ref's call, he hasn't had a better view than what the video referee's had. He was on the obstructed side. So hopefully he's got a good call from his far touchy. Try.
So Ashley Klein awards the try to Joel Monahan, and they can celebrate that family. Michael, I guess, is still in England. I'm not sure about that, but brother Joel has got himself a test try.
Saw him walk into the ground tonight, and his whole family was there to meet him. Got a beautiful family, sisters, and there were kids there as well. They all gave him a kiss on the way to the dressing room. Beautiful play by the Australians. Cameron Smith and Jonathan Thurston, with the use of decoy runners, are just drawing the defenders in comfortably, and it's creating a lot of space on the outside. New Zealand don't know where to go at the moment. And Thurston from out wide now curls the ball as a kicker more than anyone I've ever seen. This ball swings a long way from right to left. Beautiful picture here from behind him. He aims this 10 metres outside that right hand upright and then tries to swing it back. It's like he's playing 10-10 bowling. What's this, Rabbits?
Just outside the 20-metre line then. 5 in from touch on the eastern side, and here it comes, curling back, drawing back between the posts. So the try for Joel Monahan converted Matthew John sideline.
Yeah, there was just the precision of the Aussies again. They stripped him short of numbers beautifully, but Gus mentioned Joel Monahan's family. I can tell you, his father, Stuart, has been a security guard at Parliament House for the last 30 years. It was supposed to work tonight, but the Pollies gave him the night off. Who said the politicians aren't nice guys?
Very generous of them. Very generous of them. There's Josh Perry with the ball. 25 away from his own line. Incidentally, if you want any of the news and results on the World Cup of Rugby League, the website is www.rugbyleague, or should I say RLWC08.com. So to the halfway line then for Lockyer. He mightn't have been all that conspicuous, but he's done some beautiful things. There's been some lovely touches from Lockyer in this game tonight. And that sitting down, but now it's going dead. Kindly for Vatavar. He's pulled them out of the mire a few times in this jumper, hasn't he, Darren Lockyer?
He's 31 years of age now too, the great man. It creeps up on you, doesn't it?
What age?
Yeah, it does. He's 31 years of age.
He made his debut back in 1998, test level. He knows what it's all about, and has made a statement that he's looking to play for as long as he can at this level as well. He won't be retiring from it.
I've got a feeling we might have been there. Was it at North Harbour or somewhere on his test debut? He had a shocker of a night, as New Zealand get a penalty near the halfway line.
I remember it well. It was a very wet, slippery afternoon game, and they kept kicking down in the corners, and he fumbled it and bumbled it and fell over, and all sorts of terrible things happened to him. But look at him now, one of the greats of our game.
Of course, in those days, he was the champion fullback. Made the transition to the number 6 jersey seamlessly, as New Zealand now did the strike back before the break. Maddai, 22 out.
7 minutes away from the halftime break, and Dean Hallertau is out there now Luluai. This is Rapira, and Rapira will play the ball 22 metres away from the Australian line. 14-6 is the new scoreboard, with the converted try for Joel Monahan. Marshall goes back, picks up Lance Hohaya, was met by Lockyer and Lafranchi, and coming in late was Tate. And again, it's Dean Hallertau in the 14 for New Zealand, getting it to 3 metres out. They haven't had a chance to challenge many times. Here they are again with an opportunity as Ohio plays the ball. Hallertau at acting half. Marshall long, beautiful pass. Lulawai on, Mannering gets it to Barrett, puts a little kick on us, but it's gone over the sideline. So Sam Perrott appealing to the referees, not quite sure about the decision of the restart.
He was saying that when he kicked it inside, it came off an Australian player and it should be a New Zealand ball, but that's not the decision made.
Second rowers, loose forwards behind him.
Well, he was forced to kick it because someone ran from dummy half on a nothing play the previous play. Had they gone wide there and still had tackles up their sleeve, Perrott could have done more with it.
14-6 in favour of Australia. 8-point margin. As Brent Tate comes away from the 30-metre line. 2 tries to 1 then. Inglis and Monahan playing centre and wing on the left side for Australia have scored the tries. Now for Thurston, this is Kite. I'm just wondering, as I remind myself that Inglis and Monahan are playing left side centre, left side wing, whether there's a message there with Tate injuring a wrist. It seems badly in the opening seconds of the game. He's playing right side defence centre for the Kiwis. The bounce is big for Lance Ohio.
Well, that's what I spoke about earlier in the game. Both Rapati and Tate are left centres with their club. So one of them had to play out of position. So it's only natural that that would be the side of the field that Australia would attack. And they've gone there a few times with good results. Wouldn't matter if it was Rapati or Tate over there. One of them was going to feel uncomfortable up against Inglis and Monahan. So they've got the 2 tries.
Perrott turning it in for Lulawai, the only Super League player in the New Zealand team. Here's Tate. For all his indiscretions, he's a tough player. He doesn't ask for any favours, and he certainly doesn't give any. Here's Marshall. Now Tate. Another of the grand final heroes from Manly. And you can see that left wrist is heavily bandaged, and every time he gets up, he grabs at the wrist. He might be playing on the wrong side of the ground, but I still think you'll find he's doing it pretty much with only one hand as Stewart takes a hard hit. That was Rapira on Glenn Stewart, and that just moved the cobwebs a little bit in Stewart's head. Lafranchi.
Yeah, Greg Eastwood comes in over the top as well to help Sam Rapira down low. Welcome to Test football.
Cameron Smith, who of course missed the grand final in that well-documented fortnight of rugby league. Lapping this up, loving every moment of it. Sivanasiva back for his second session. 25 away. Lockyer to the boot now. He's got big Monahan and Inglis chasing. It's taken there by Sam Perrott, and he's given a penalty to Australia. There's interference, I fancy, on Greg Inglis or one of the pursuers.
Yes, that's the call. Looked like a fine take under pressure from Sam Perrott, and it is a huge couple of minutes for New Zealand coming into the break. I think Australia will look to go for more points here, just to the left-hand side there. Here's Tupou going close. Oh, in fact, it's Brent Kite.
So Smith looks away to the right. He'll find Sivanasiva. He goes behind the big fella to Thurston, to Lockyer. Second man for Slater. And Brent Tate. But Gus is right. He pointed out earlier just how brilliant they are. And the passes are like rockets, and very seldom are they offline. And the class of these players.
And there's no need, because they're all such great players, there's no need for the long cutout pass. They're all adept at knowing when to catch and pass. Just let it filter through the hands. If Billy Slater had given that to Folau, Folau would have scored or put Tate in.
Luluwai getting it away for Jerome Rupati, who got 3 tries in that test against Tonga. They rested a number of their key players. This is Perrott. Now it's Lance Hohaya, who takes it out to the 40-metre line. Dean Halliter from the West Tigers to his teammate at club level, Benji Marshall, who puts a kick down, and Slater guards it, brings it back outside his 10, runs it up towards 20, and then tries to go through but is tackled inside that point.
And if the score stays at 14-6, I think it will be a very positive Stephen Kearney and Wayne Bennett giving their chat to the players. They are well within striking range, and if they can get some possession, get their kicking game sorted out, I think they will think that they are still close enough to go on and win this if they can turn around the fortunes of the opening half.
35 seconds to the break. Matthew, a comment?
Yeah, we just see the ball go out wide into John Monahan's hands again. I just want to talk, like Pete said, about their kicking game as the Aussies start to razzle-dazzle a little bit. Look, I think Stephen Kearney's got a decision to make what he's going to do at halfback. At the moment, Thomas Luluai's not giving enough at halfback. Maybe think about putting Fiend there, maybe push Lance higher up there at the moment, but at the moment, Luluai's not quite getting the job done.
Matthew siren blasting out in just a moment here at the football stadium as Marshall puts it down. Cameron Smith picks it up, but there it is. So there's no time remaining. And Australia at halftime, 2 tries to 1. Greg Inglis at the 15th, Joel Monahan at the 30th. New Zealand responded at the 27th through Sika Manu. It's 2 tries, 3 goals. Australia plays 1-1 for New Zealand. It's 14-6. Australia over New Zealand at halftime. So Lockyer kicks off to start the second half. The first match involving the home nation up against New Zealand. It's 14-6 in welcome back to the Sydney Football Stadium as New Zealand come down the race and 8 points behind at halftime. It's a much better look than they had in May of this year in the Centenary Test, and they trailed 22-0, got themselves into a situation chasing 14-6 Australian scoreboard at the moment, and they've done it against the odds, as Peter pointed out with all those statistics. The penalty 6-3 against them, possession running high against them. Marshall's been playing very much a team game more than an individual game. As Australia come back down. World Cup started back in 1954. Been held 12 times since the mid-50s, and Australia has won it 9 times. Since 1975, they've remained unbeaten. World Cup was born actually in France. In 1954, they invited other countries to compete. came as no surprise that the event and the invitation coincided with France having a wonderful team at the time, a team that had only recently demolished Australia. Can you believe?
And New Zealand have been involved in every World Cup since 1954. The trophy went missing for 20 years. It was found in a rubbish dump in Bradford in the north of England. And it's on display here this evening. One proud captain, one proud nation will lift that after the final in a month's time.
Stay behind, guys.
Darren Lockyer prepares for the restart. So Lockyer kicks off to start the second half. The first match involving the home nation up against New Zealand. It's 14-6 in favour of the Kangaroos. And Rapira it was with the first carry of the second half. This is Rapati. And they're just beyond their own 20-metre line. So Marshall spins it away to Blair, the front row forward, who plays the ball on the 30-metre line. They keep coming right side for Lulawai to find Mannering. And Mannering is put down by Glenn Stewart, who had a very good first 40 minutes of international football. Lulawai's kick bounces awkwardly, sidesteps Billy Slater. It'll go dead for him. Just kept top spinning its way down to the dead ball line. So back to the 20-metre line for the restart. The option for Cameron Smith. He takes the tap and Sivanasiva brings it back to the 30-metre line. Right side for LaFranchi now. Two tries in the first half. Inglis and Monahan for Australia. Manu for New Zealand. On one of the rare occasions they got a smell of the Australian try line. They were able to cross it. Here's Slater running around them, stepping, finding Folau, inside ball. Tate couldn't handle. Slater's come up with the ball. Klein says play on. And it's Slater now who comes back and crosses the 30-metre line for the second time. Pulled down eventually by Rapira. Cameron Smith for John Thurston. For Darren Lockyer. Glenn Stewart gave him a decoy run on the inside and Lockyer got the ball on the outside for Greg Inglis. Now they're 8 metres away and Cameron Smith loses the ball. It is knocked on, says the referee. Turnover, I fancy, at the back end of the tackle count.
Well, dangerous stuff there from Australia. Billy Slater heavily involved, but some wonderful defence late from Sam Perrott and then from Dean Hallertau.
On the cross, Adam. On the cross. Marcus square.
Ball coming loose from Cameron Smith. Jonathan Thurston appealing to the referee that it was taken out by the New Zealand defender, so it should be an Australian ball. But Blair plays it 10 metres out. Simon Mannering across field, picks up a couple.
4 Australians piling in on the tackle, which Tupou was the front man in. Now it's Eastwood bound for English Super League. Perrott to the 30-metre line now. 8 points in arrears. The black and whites, the Kiwis, no higher. Runs away from dummy half. A little scurry. Played back for Hallertau to go away to Marshall. And Marshall puts it immediately between winger Monahan, who's picked it up now, and Slater, the fullback. Matai goes down the ground and manages to stop Monahan with the help of Lulawai. Thurston goes on immediately to Slater, and Slater is taken by 3 of the Kiwis, including Hallertau and Rapira. Now it's Folau, taken by Rapira and by Hallertau and by Blair. Just outside the 20-metre line then is Brent Kite. The 30-metre line just behind him. Left side for Thurston, a big dummy and almost through, but hanging on was Lulawai.
He loves that dummy.
Stewart, the lofted pass, finding eventually Lockyer. Lockyer's kick lands on the point. Here's the big fellow, Vanavai. Outside the 10, and Metten put away by the Australian defence.
Thurston loves to go to the line and throw that late dummy. You know it's coming, but it just about fools them every time. The defence must think, no, he won't do it this time. But then he does it and away he goes. Look at this, he's nearly through. Got him by the shorts.
Playing the ball is Hallertau. Here's Tate with a run out of Dumby half. 35 metres out from their own line. Lulawai at acting half, Marshall calling the play. Puts a little kick on the back edge, the boot. Hohia's after the ball. Thurston's picked up the ball though, and Thurston is grabbed by Hohia and put to ground eventually. On the 30-metre line, Australia's end. Slater now. Smith, a tunnel ball before Glenn Stewart is tackled right in the centre of the ground. Smith to the right side and turning it in for Brent Kite. And it's pulled down there by Mannering and Eastwood. Smith now, short side, Thurston, cut out ball on Inglis, goes out to Monahan. Monahan down the left side, Inglis stays with him on the inside. Monahan got the ball to Inglis, then it went to Thurston, now it's gone to Smith. And Smith it is over towards the centre of the ground, tackle 12 metres out from the line. Again, New Zealand under pressure. Thurston bullets a pass away to Monahan. He flicks it back to Inglis. Inglis tries to get rid of them. Puts a pass out the back. Thurston puts a kick in. It's covered up there by New Zealand on their own line.
I don't know how. Australia looked like scoring 3 times there. They just keep getting there to get the tackle done.
Eastwood it was eventually. Saving the day for New Zealand.
Look at this Australian defence now. They know they've got New Zealand on the rack. They're just going to rev up, come forward, and hit in numbers.
Perrott. Sivanasiva and Lafranchi making the tackle. Here's Vadavai. And he's pulled down just inside the 30-metre line. This is the last tackle. The kick required from Marshall. Runs away from Cameron Smith. It's gone off the feet of Tate. He's going to be... No, he's able to flick it before he goes over the sideline. Perrott throws a pass. It's turned out to be dangerous. It's with Inglis now. Greg Inglis to play it just outside the New Zealand 20-metre line. Well, can they withstand them yet again? Sivanasiva, he will play it in the middle of the ground as Australia runs towards the northern end of the footy stadium. A short ball back from Lockyer to Lafranchi as Lockyer sets it up on the right side. Cameron Smith it is, who gives it to him now. Then it's to Folau, the big fella, to the line is over. Youngest player ever to play Test football for Australia. Youngest player on ground tonight. And Israel Folau has scored.
And an unbelievable ability to get the football down from difficult positions on the try line. We saw the centenary test, a towering jump to grab a bomb out of the air and then put the football down backwards over his head. We've been able to get the ball down under pressure on that occasion as well.
Now lead New Zealand 18 points to 6. The Kangaroos with a kick to come.
18 points to 6 now. The try to this young giant, the rugby league centre, Israel Folau. Standing up there at about 6'5" in the old language. About 105 kilo of him. So this young giant of a rugby league player with all the ability and talent, Israel Folau, has scored Australia's 3rd try.
That's what I was talking about in the first half too. As Inglis comes back on the field, there's no real reason to throw long cutout passes to the winger, because if you just give it to this man, if the defence is going to retreat on them and slide, he'll just muscle his way over. And that was a perfect example. Lockyer didn't think about doing anything else other than giving the big lad the ball, and then he just forced his way in between defenders to put it down. When you're playing with players of this calibre, you don't have to throw the absolute pass, just get it to the good players.
Thurston with a difficult kick again, right to left this time, and this time he misses. So it's 18 points to 6. Matty John sideline.
You know, Rabbits, there's Israel Folau there. But yeah, just want to talk about Lockyer for a second. I mean, brilliance from Lockyer is just a guarantee week in, week out. But I've got to say, I've never seen him look so classy with every touch as tonight. Everything he does is just classy, just little plays, the way he's holding himself. At 31 years of age, when players are starting to slow down, if he can keep his legs, he'll just keep going on and on.
And Glenn Stewart throwing the pass from the restart to Cameron Smith centre field, and a display of the power of Israel Folau there. He pushed off Manu Vadavai, and there's no bigger man on the field tonight. Just brushed him out of the way to score. As Simna Suva does the same there.
This pairing of Folau and Inglis is the youngest Australian centre partnership ever, displacing Brent Tate and Jamie Lyon, who held that distinction since 2003, but that's been taken from the history books tonight as Thurston goes in for Brent Kite, and Kite will play the ball for Cameron Smith. Now for Stewart, and again Stewart leaving a print on this game, and it's a bold print that he's leaving because it's a debut performance of some stature. Thurston's kick, Joel Monahan, I don't know what Joel was doing, but the ball eventually bounces and bounces across the touchline.
Just to add a little bit more to Israel Folau, I remember talking to the Melbourne Storm talent scout Peter O'Sullivan years ago, and when Israel Folau was only 16, I said, how good is he? He said he's the next Mal Meninga. Now, to put that in perspective, Mal Meninga played 46 tests for Australia, 30-odd origins, one of the immortals of the game. At 16 years of age, talent scout said, this is the next Mal Meninga. He hasn't been proven wrong yet.
This is Vadavai. Heavy taping around the right bicep. That's the 20-metre line at the New Zealand end of the ground, with Nathan Kalis getting beyond 30. There's that bandaging on the arm of Manu. Eastwood, and Kite didn't quite get the shot on him that he wanted to, and Greg Eastwood plays the ball to go away from Marshall to put a kick down the ground towards Slater, and Slater comes away from 10, over 20, gives it to Monahan. He's drifting over towards the big kid, Israel Folau.
Saw another example there from Benji Marshall earlier on, the long pass on tackle 5. A couple of times he's gone for the 40-20. It's like he's trying to find a miracle. That's one of the criticisms I've got in his football. He gets behind on the scoreboard and just looks to try and solve it with one play.
And in disrespect to Thomas Luluai, I think that Benji Marshall has no creativity on the inside as well, so he feels that there's an extra responsibility there to be a spark. Willie Slater finds Glenn Stewart. I think that New Zealand, to do well in this tournament, have to play Benji Marshall at halfback, and Isaac Luke has to be in there 17. This game's still there to be won, long way to go. Darren Lockyer finds an answer high with that kick. I think we'll see changes at some stage later in the tournament. Here's a chance for Vadavai.
And Vadavai is tackled quickly and effectively by Folau, and then the ball is lost in the play the ball.
Well, a penalty for the Australian player going back over the man tackled.
So that precedes the loss of the football.
See, the player who could play at 5'8" for New Zealand is Satamata Saab. I'd love to see him just settle down in the back row, but and I believe he's playing injured in this tournament, but he is creative. You could put Marshall to 7. Isaac Luke's got to be there somewhere. I agree with Peter on that. Because at the moment, they're trying hard, they just don't know what they're doing.
Pera it was who played the ball, and the captain, Kalis, will play it 22 metres out in the middle of the ground. Hallertau behind Eastwood to Luluai, behind Mannering, Ohio to Matai, and he will play it 15 out from the line and 5 metres in from the western touchline. Ohio's pass long and high, and eventually finding Kalis, a little juggle. Juggle, it could have even been deemed as a knock-on, to be quite frank with you. Now Hallertau. Luluai again. Mannering on the right side. Matai close to the sideline. He's tackled on the 10-metre line. 18 plays 6. Ohio goes high and across towards Vatabai. And the bat down has come down to Australia. And it's with Darren Lockyer. Now for Israel. And Folau will play it inside the 30-metre line, his own end of the park. This is Tate. Now Gallen.
Speaking of Sedimata Star, he is out there for New Zealand now. Only player yet to be involved out of the 34. Kurt Gidley hasn't come in as yet as Jonathan Thurston again throws the dummy, finds Slater short. Three defenders tackle him just inside the New Zealand half.
So from Cameron Smith, long to Lockyer, on to LaFranchi, out to Tate, and then it's over to Folau. Tate that time coming inside Folau for the play. Lockyer, left foot kick, over towards the uprights. Perrett's there to field it. Slater's got him. Line drop out. More pressure.
Oh, you've got to love speed. Speed can do so many things for you. When he's got the ball, he frightens people. But I'll tell you the most frightening thing about Billy Slater is his kick chase. Look at this. The speed at which he comes forward, then he's able to round up the defender, tackle him in goal and get the restart. As an opposition coach, you're petrified of that kick in behind the line, and this man Slater zooming in. He's quick.
He took Sam Perrett by surprise there. He couldn't believe that anyone could get through that fast. A slow restart here from New Zealand, just trying to get some oxygen in the lungs. It's Benji Marshall, nice drop kick away on the halfway line, and well taken by Monahan. Offloads to Price.
Price running at Nathan Feen and committing him to the tackle. Get some help from Kalis. Coming up to 55 minutes gone. Sivanasiva.
And that's Kurt Gidley out there now at dummy half.
Number 14 for the Newcastle captain. Now for Gallen. 25 away. And Thurston came from the right side. Made the X on the left. Lockyer goes in. Slater's up the middle. And Slater will play the ball. 16 metres away now from the New Zealand line. They're coming again. The Kangaroos. Thurston's kick. Just getting a little ricochet, and New Zealand cleaning up with Ohio.
I'd just like to get Matty John's opinion on this. I mean, I know that Billy Slater trains a lot of dummy half and relieves Cameron Smith of that position down with the Melbourne Storm. It might be in Kurt Gidley's best interest if they did that with the Australian side. When Gidley comes on, let Gidley play at fullback and let Billy Slater give Cameron Smith a rest at dummy half, because he's at least used to doing it. Otherwise, Kurt Gidley's playing out of position.
Yeah, I think that's got real warrant. Like Billy Slater, I mean, the best part of his game is zooming around in around those rucks, playing a flat style with his halves. So I think Billy, particularly when opposition forwards get tired, would be exceptional there.
Monahan fending away from Tate. And this big lump of a lad from Canberra. Taken eventually by Mannering. Here's Gidley. Rapira in 17, making the tackle with Nathan Feen. Now for Stephen Price. And wrapping his legs up is Mannering. Luluai up the top. Gidley a dummy open, goes blind, picks up Stewart. Stewart looking for an opening between the markers. And he'll play it on the 20-metre line. Gidley right side, Thurston a show, then a give. Lockyer does the same, Slater's in, and Tate couldn't handle it. And Ohio comes up with the ball.
Why have Tate and Folau swapped positions? That's the second time Tate has lined up inside Folau.
Well, he's in trouble, Brent Tate. Can't get to his feet on the far side. He's gone to ground just inside his own 20.
New Zealand.
And there was an opportunity, sorry Ray, an opportunity there with Brent Tate being down if that pass had have gone to hand.
It's 18-6, Australia leading. So, timeout for his injury to Brent Tate.
Well, they had a three-man overlap there with Brent Tate being down.
It was the way to go.
But the pass was an ordinary one, much too hard.
So still the trainers are working on Brent Tate. And as you can see, he's not at all well.
I hope it's just concussion. That big padding you see at the back of his neck, he had terrible back and neck problems a few years ago, and that padding has virtually allowed him to continue playing. But he seems to have lost all control. Now, I'm hoping it's just concussion, that he's got a bad knock to the head, and that there isn't something wrong with the neck. I doubt that the trainers would be moving him. They're two very experienced men there in Ron Palmer and Tony Ayew. They wouldn't move him if it was a neck problem.
It is really difficult to work out from his body language what is wrong, whether he's picked up. You didn't see a head knock in there. I'm wondering if there's something up around the rib or sternum area that has knocked him out, knocked him around.
So Australia then, and there's that fend again from Inglis. Monahan responds by going inside free centre. And Joel to play the ball just outside the 20-metre line, tackled by Matai and Hohaya. To the right side for Gallen to go up the middle of the ground. And Rapira's worked hard in defence. He makes another tackle. Played for Cameron. Now it's gone on for Stephen Price. And Price getting it back to the black and white of Hohaya. On his own 10-metre line. Still they work on Brent Tate, and Dr. Hugh Hazard, I think, has been summoned down to the playing level.
He is really in distress, is Brent Tate.
Well, there's something terribly wrong there.
But you've got to be right, though, Phil.
They wouldn't move him if it was his neck. They wouldn't be moving him.
It wouldn't be spinal with these fellows, the experience of these fellows handling him the way out they are. To the right side for Marshall.
Okay, right.
Marshall's kick down towards Monahan. He fields it on the full. Comes off his 10. Runs towards Slater, but Jeremy Smith makes the tackle.
20 minutes to go. Have a look at the scoreboard, Rabbits. It's 18-6. Now, it feels like it's 36-6. Australia are so dominant. They're only 12 in front. If New Zealand can somehow conjure up a try, they're back in the game.
Stewart, short, Thurston, through a gap. After him is Perrott. After him, Matai. Got rid of Matai. Goes over 40. He's over 30. Jonathan gets a ball away. Came off Slater. No knock on. Try Australia. No knock on, I don't think. Slater puts it down.
It seemed to be knee and leg, and Billy Slater celebrates. The referee was in good position on this, Ashley Klein. How Jonathan Thurston picked up that extra 30 metres, I've got no idea. Just got rid of players through the pass, and Billy Slater seemed to have his hands out of the way of it. Whilst New Zealand were close enough at 12, they are too far away at 18. If this is successfully scored and converted, gets rid of Matai there, looks around. Got spiders on him. Jonathan Thurston finally goes back inside, throws the pass to Slater. Seemed to come off up around the thigh area before he regathered and was able to put the footy down. This will be the angle.
He was actually being grabbed by Nathan Feen from behind. Nathan Feen actually pulled him sideways, so he couldn't get his hands to it. And it's hit him on the hip. And you've also got to see where Billy Slater came from to get involved in that play. Just spoke about his speed a little while ago. He showed great anticipation and never gave up on Jonathan Thurston once. Came from deep in the backfield to get into position to take that pass. Got pulled away by Nathan Feen in the cover defence. It's hit him on the hip, and this will be a try. Jonathan Thurston just checking his shoulder there.
Yeah, he had that reconstructions, but he had shoulder surgery on both shoulders last off-season. Try signalled on the board. Australia comfortable.
4 tries then to Australia. And it doesn't surprise anybody, I suppose, when you look at the positions they play. Inglis, Folau, the centres. Monahan, one wing, Slater, fullback.
Well, Slater never gave up here. Neither did Jonathan Thurston. A brilliant play by Jonathan Thurston. He goes down the left. Slater's walking in the background. Now Thurston goes, Slater gets into a job. Thurston shrugs out of a tackle and bursts into the backfield, and Slater comes slooming up from behind. Fiend grabs him, hits him on the hip, keeps his eyes on the ball and gets in. The courage of the halfback and the awareness of the fullback. 9, 7, 6 and 1. They make your football team.
20 minutes still remaining, and Billy Slater, arguably the player of the year here in the NRL competition. Certainly nobody has given me more enjoyment through the year than Billy Slater. And he is just so industrious. And Thurston nails another goal. He laid the try on, he converts the try scored by Bill Slater, Matt Johns.
I want to talk about the bloke who started the try, Glenn Stewart. He's been exceptional tonight. Used his right foot step to engage two defenders. Just watch the subtlety of the play. Little skip away, creates it for Thurston. It started with Stewart. And look at Thurston's fighting qualities. It accelerates through. And I've got to say, it's the best I've seen Slater play with Thurston and Lockyer. They've been brilliant, that combination tonight.
Well, in the case of Thurston and Lockyer, particularly Lockyer, it's been an unselfish performance, really. As I said, and you agree with me earlier, Matt, there's been some lovely touches from Lockyer. He's been more aware of the fact that he just has to give it, and he's chosen his times perfectly.
He has again been the consummate professional tonight.
Here's Sivanasiva up the middle, and he's tackled on the 40-metre line.
Of course, there were those with a line of thinking that Jonathan Thurston was probably not the sort of number 7 that would suit an Australian team. He's more of an individual player. Yet this is his 8th game for Australia. He's undefeated. Australia have not been beaten with Jonathan Thurston in the number 7 jersey. And he's getting better at that role every time he takes it on. It's a great football team, isn't it?
Sivanasiva then, 28 metres away from the Kiwi line. Haven't been given a crowd figure yet, but it's, I would think, in excess of 30,000 here at the Footy Stadium. Played by LaFranchi. Cameron Smith a dart, then back for Thurston, short for Gallen, gives it to Lockyer. Lockyer up on the 10-metre line, draws them in, goes to Folau, goes in, goes out, gives the ball to Gidley, and he'll play the ball. Folau finds himself at dummy half, and his pass isn't all that bad away to Lockyer. Well, now that should have been, it is, well, he's ruled 6 more tackles, but I thought he was offside, the Kiwi. Thurston it is, who plays the ball. Smith gives it out, Lockyer goes across, Glenn Stewart looks for a try in his debut game, and he's short. And Matai again is injured, as Gallen does a barge-over attempt. Matai's clutching at his left shoulder.
Double movement from Paul Gallen. He'll be penalised, he's penalised. Well, Steve Matai, well, a pretty common sight with Steve Matai, clutching the neck, the shoulder. Seems to be pretty chronic up there. Heavy contact up there around the head of Steve Matai. No wonder he stayed down.
I said it in the commentary earlier, I cannot believe that the injuries this man has come out of games with, and he bounces back. He's so tough. Played by Smith. This is Rapati.
Well, there's no doubt he goes into the game with injuries. He obviously just refuses to pull out.
Kalis to the line. Lulawai supports. Jeremy Smith tackled on the halfway. Stewart the tackler. Lulawai dummy half. Adam Blair backing into the defence. In the back row of Stewart and Perry, the front row, making the tackle. Ohio driving a kick down. It bounces favourably for Slater on his own 10. He spins it away for Greg Inglis. And Inglis will play the ball on his 20-metre line. Slater stays a dummy half. Gidley was at first receiver. Plays it quickly. Folau goes up the middle, no markers, and gets to the 40-metre line. Cameron Smith shunting Gidley out of the road. Gives it on to Thurston. Thurston away to Lockyer. Lockyer on to Stewart. Inside ball for Inglis. Shrugs away from an injured Steve Tate. Goes in and makes the tackle eventually. Played by Greg Inglis a few metres into Kiwi territory. Lockyer away to Steve Price, and Price is held and put away by the New Zealand number 16, Sedimata Sarr. Cameron Smith out of dummy half. Puts a kick down towards the uprights, and in the in goal it comes to rest before Vadavai picks it up and runs back.
Knocked on, early knock on with his first touch, Ray.
Oh, did he? Scoreline 24-6 Australia. Below the right eye for Nathan Feen.
Yeah, it's been there from early in the game, Ray's. Heavy contact in the opening 10 minutes. Be worse tomorrow morning, I'd imagine.
Four tries to one. And the line dropout is accepted by Slater. It's a huge drop kick. And the Kiwi restart.
With very little effort. 2 or 3 strides and bang.
Played by Price now. Here's Perry to the New Zealand 30-metre line. Smith, Gallon running it at Nathan Feen and Nathan Kalis together with Adam Blair. 20 out. Smith. Tackle just outside the 10-metre line. 24-6, 4 tries to 1. Gallon for Thurston. Is try number 5 coming up. Stewart taken down in a 3-man New Zealand tackle. And this is the last tackle. Smith to Thurston, blindside, he whistle! Well, he's put the ball back, but did it go back? And Cameron Smith is claiming a try.
Well, Australia will claim that it was raked out by the New Zealand defenders, which nullifies the knock-on, but it doesn't look like a try.
Once again,
despite the slaps on the back. Held it very, very late, Jonathan Thurston, opening up the hole for Inglis. The outside in run, and then the ball came loose. We'll have another look. No, it's no try. Comes off Greg Inglis into Lance Hahaya. That, to me, that is a knock-on.
Absolutely. They're defending their line. He knocks it there, he knocks it there. It hits Hahaya, goes forward anyway. Be no try. Loves to run the ball on tackle 5, Jonathan Thurston. He can throw that short pass like we saw there to Inglis, or he doesn't mind the cutout pass to the winger on last play. I don't know how many looks we've got to have at this to work out that this is a knock-on. Knocks it on there.
Still 12 minutes of this game remaining, and we're waiting for Steve Ganson to give us his decision.
Speaking of Steve Ganson, Australia will play England next Sunday in Melbourne. New Zealanders take on Papua New Guinea on the Gold Coast on Saturday.
Peter, how good were Papua New Guinea last night?
Fantastic.
How good were Papua New Guinea last night? They were a real credit to everyone involved. Gee, they were good.
Finally, we've got a decision.
Don't miss Papua New Guinea next time we got them on. They were terrific.
They play Australia in Townsville a fortnight today. And for all news and results on the World Cup, the website for you is on the screen. And a knock-on has been ruled here by Ashley Klein.
if you want to know what the World Cup's all about, I mean, it was typified in that performance by the Papua New Guinea boys last night. A chance to play in their national colours. Don't get the chance very often, and they just made the most of it. So too their fans, who turned out in force. They absolutely loved the fact that their team was on the world stage. And that is what World Cup's all about.
Here's Greg Inglis about to play the ball just inside the 40-metre line. And Gallen it is that takes it towards the middle of the park. Matty Johns has been on the job to find out about Brent Tate. We'll go to him in just a moment. We'll watch this set through as Brent Carter's tackled on the 20-metre line. Middle of the ground, Cameron Smith to Lockyer, finding Lafranchi. Fourth tackle is gone. Tate wanting the ball, getting it. Out in front of Lockyer. No knock on, no hands. Now it's with Glenn Stewart. Dancing away and taking it ahead. Still going, struggling, breaking free. Just inside the 10 on the last.
He's had a great test debut.
Smith, a no-look to Thurston, a knock-on by Lockyer. And Klein has picked up another knock-on, I fancy. So it'll be a turnover. New Zealand didn't get an advantage. Matthew, what's the story on Brent Tate?
Well, good news of sorts. The neck's okay, no problem either. They're saying it's a concussion, a nasty concussion, but he's going to be okay.
That's a good piece of news, obviously, particularly with a bloke like Brent Tate, as we pointed out, who's worn that neck brace for some years now.
Well, it's a great piece of news. Yeah, that's something he'll get over without any problem at all. But it did look as though there was some part of his body that was in all sorts of trouble. So it's super news as Thomas Luluai cut out past Benji Marshall. Batabai.
Manu, just inside the 40-metre line, Australia's end of the ground. Marshall for Eastwood. And Eastwood able to stand and unload, but it's ill-directed. It's gone back some 20 metres with O'Hire in possession. And he runs back into the traffic and is wrapped up by Greg Inglis. Just outside the 40-metre line. And now Marshall puts a kick down the throat of Billy Slater. And Slater comes out beyond the 20-metre line where he's tackled. Now for Gidley. And he's tackled just outside the 30-metre line. Now for Gallen.
Well, Jonathan Thurston has left the field. He's going back to the bench now after another great performance, as Gus pointed out, yet to play in a losing side in the green and gold jersey. 8 from 8 this will be. I don't see a miracle win coming for New Zealand in the last 8 minutes as Lockyer inside finds Gidley. Cut down low by Jeremy Smith.
Smith scurries into dummy half before finding Lockyer. Then it went on to Lafranchi, who turned it back inside for Gidley. And he plays the ball on the 30-metre line. In fact, it was Slater, not Gidley. And now a little kick by Lockyer, bouncing down to Perrott. And Perrott is taken by the defence of Australia, only 7 metres out from the line.
Well, the whole game's been played at this northern end in the second half, hasn't it? Very, very dominant, the Australians. It's not reflected on the scoreboard. New Zealand have been extremely courageous to stay in touch of sorts. The territory's been all Australia.
Yeah, I think if Ricky Stewart had one concern, it is the fact that they've only scored 4 tries to date. They've been more dangerous than that as Marshall dummies once. Tries to again put Batabai away down the left wing. He comes back in field looking to support. Kurt Gidley now moved out into the back line. I would imagine his brother Matt, big brother Matt, would be here tonight from England. A great season for him in the St Helens club. He was actually in the winning Australian side back in 2000 as a penalty late for New Zealand in the count.
Peter, what did you make of England last night?
I think they'll be much better for the run. I think they were taken by surprise of the ferocity and the determination and the talent in the Papua New Guinea squad. But I think there would be some concerns. I think it was probably a good game for them. It got the cobwebs out, but it's also shown them that they've got a lot of work to do if they are going to match, well, basically Australia and New Zealand in this competition.
New Zealand.
Very good player, the man of the match, James Roby. And
he's a great player. He is a super player. I think the first time England play Australia, they're in for a rude shock. I think they're off the pace. They'll need one against Australia to find out what it's all about.
Here's Blair now. Tackle by Josh Perry. Fiend turns it in for Rapira. Sam Rapira playing it right in front of the uprights, about 8 metres out. Fiend goes back. Marshall throws a dummy, gets the ball away to Rapati. He's over Rapati. Does he get the ball down? Klein is going to the video referee.
Yeah, confident that Jerome Rapati has kept his try-scoring record going.
Once again, we go to our
The ball
video
does come out
referee,
late, but I think the ball had already hit the
Stops
ground by that
29
stage. Lovely work again from Benji Marshall. As we saw Jonathan Thurston at the far end almost putting in Greg Inglis. He held it very late, Benji Marshall. And Jerome Rapati. Oh, well, Billy Slater, who's been warned about coming in like that in the last fortnight.
I think it's dangerous. I don't think fullbacks should be allowed to do this.
Well, he's been told that he can't.
That is dangerous.
And if that's not a try, which it doesn't look as though it is, it should be a penalty against him.
I don't like it at all. And you know, and he saves a lot of tries from it. I love Billy Slater as a player, but I don't like this. I don't like using the foot to save tries like that.
Well, it's indiscriminate. It's indiscriminate kicking, and it's covered in the rule book. It's a straight up and down penalty.
He's done it a lot, Ray.
I understand that, but I'm talking about the officials have not penalised him.
I think seasons ago, didn't Matthew Ridge have a bit of a problem?
Matthew Ridge did it down at Brookvale one day. I remember it well, Pete, but I'm just saying that, yes, there's been examples of this from Slater many times this year, but he's never been penalised.
He's not trying to kick anyone. We'll just point that out. He's only trying to save the try.
It's still an indiscriminate kick.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree.
It's no try to Jerome Rapati, but they should get a penalty out of it at the very least and a warning for Billy Slater. As I say, I read in the last fortnight, the official have told him that this is not acceptable. It is dangerous. It is kicking. Now he's denied a try here, but they can't benefit out of it, or they shouldn't benefit out of it.
You probably asked the question then, if it's a penalty for kicking the ball out, he would have scored a try, there is no doubt, had there not been an indiscriminate kick.
Is it a penalty try?
Is it a penalty try? That's the question that I'm alluding to. We'll take a break, come back in a moment. No try. 20-metre restart. Well, they've got that. I was going to say half right. I think they've got it wrong.
Well, whatever article Peter read, I assume that was to do with his NRL practices. Certainly didn't filter through to the international board. And I think it's a practice that needs to be discouraged. I know what he's trying to do. He's trying to slide his leg in under the ball to prevent the try. We've seen him do it time and time again. But I don't like it.
I think he did exactly the same on Matt Ballin in the grand final. So here's the play right in the middle of the ground with Australia. Lockyer getting it away. Oh, that's a good tackle on Tupou. The big fella, the beast, came in from the left wing. Manu Valov took Anthony Tupou, ball and all, and bang. And to use a Gus Isdom, get that into you.
You remember Leslie Vainicolo?
Yes, I do.
Very similar. They can produce a big winger, can't they? It's a huge hit from a big man.
Oh, you'd feel like the lights have gone out, wouldn't you? This big shadow just descends upon you.
So here's Matai, a couple of metres on Australia's side of halfway.
Of course, the no try there to Rapati. We got away from talking about Benji Marshall. He's got to find himself in positions like that more often. He's got the flair, and they're going to have to learn to score points if they want to beat Australia. It's not their defence that's a problem.
In defence of Benji, though, I think, and I think Sterlo touched on it, it's been too predictable, too one-dimensional, and they just know, it's going to it.
Well,
there's nobody taking any heat off him. Here's Blair.
Well, it's the bloke playing inside him. The service isn't good enough.
Here's Lulawai now to Marshall. He puts it short to Sedabadasar. 15 away from the Australian line. So Fiend to Lulawai, who's drops it and drops it straight into Billy Slater, and Slater comes out to the 20-metre line, and again Rapira makes a very good tackle. Here's Gidley, and Cameron Smith looked to me as though he was waiting for an obstruction ruling to be put on Darren Lockyer.
So you compare the two sides in the important positions. The creative positions, 9, 7, 6 and 1. The hookers, Cameron Smith up against Nathan Feen. The halfbacks, Jonathan Thurston on Lulawai. The fullbacks, Hohaya on Billy Slater. And you can see the difference in contribution in the two teams. Now playing outside them, Lockyer has been superb. But playing outside the other three, Marshall hasn't had a chance. 34 the crowd, you were right, eh?
34,157, and the World Cup organisers will be thrilled with that crowd. And it feels, and I'm not saying this against ANZ Stadium, but it feels so much better when you've got 34,000 people in here. The atmosphere that is generated. This is Perrott. 24-6. And this bloke has been good for New Zealand. I was just looking up at his tackle count. He's made 24 and he's made 10 hit-ups. And this is Feen behind a running Blair decoy. Marshall wide, then back. Now Rapati, flick, Ohio. Tackle inside the 10-metre line. 2 metres in from the eastern touch. And Vadavai for Marshall. For 16, that's Saar. Yeah, the boys have given Papua New Guinea a big rap, and so they should. They'll be a fortnight away tonight playing Australia as Marshall puts a back edge on that kick, and then a lovely piece of work by Anthony Tupou. Bound for Cronulla next year. Kite, Gidley, Monahan comes to Manu on his put down. The lone try scorer for the Kiwis. Manu. Kite inside 30. Folau, a dummy half run. Got away from Rapira the first time, but slamming Sam pursues, and there's a little piece of the tackle to set him out of Saar. Seven or 8 metres on the Australian side of halfway. Play by Lafranchi, Josh Perry. Now for Lockyer. Here's Gidley. Gidley on. English puts in a kick. They pursue down the centre of the ground. The bounce found Lance Hohaya coming across and running it into touch.
He didn't have much option there, Lance. Now they're going to have to defend for the last minute or so again. I actually think they've done very well. You know, if you're coaching against Australia and kept them to 4 tries over 80 minutes, I think you give yourself half a chance of winning. 24 gives you a chance, but unfortunately New Zealand haven't looked like getting anywhere near that number of points. There's an eye injury for you. Have a look at that.
Sakamanu, the try scorer. He's operating with Hartley's side. There's a short ball there to a rampaging Paul Gallen, pulled down just short. Still numbers to the right for Australia, but a slow play the ball.
Smith short for Lafranchi. And he's put down 7 metres out from the line. Smith again, this time behind Price. Out to Lockyer, drew them, got it on. Gidley goes short for Inglis, and Inglis is wrapped up 7 metres away from the line. Monahan for Kite, Kite to Perry, Gallen to Slater, Slater away, Tupou out wide, able to stand, unload, Gallen, Slater, no look, and he'll score for Folau. I think he's grasped it okay. The referee's okay with it. And Israel gets his second try of the night. Right on the full-time siren.
That's brilliant hands. See, there's some lovely passing in this sequence. New Zealand didn't do too much wrong in their defence, but Australia's ability to keep it alive. Slater on to Tupou. This is the pass that creates it. Gets it out the back. Beautiful work by Gallen and wonderful hands. Who was that? Slater. That's brilliant hands by Slater. Watch the way this ball comes out the back. Gallen, quick hands to Slater. You want to see it again? How quick was that?
And he stayed alive too. It was his second possession in that one play. Anthony Tupou. Really should have been wrapped up here as they go wide, the Australians. Josh Perry on to Gallen. Wrapped up there. Vadavite allowed him to get the ball away. Gallen, Slater, Folau.
Well, I described him earlier tonight as the player of the year in my book. Certainly, if I'm wrong there, he's been the entertainer of the year, Billy Slater. Israel gets his second try, 19 years of age. And here's Cameron now with the kick from the sideline, and he's got it. A little bit of icing on the cake. Australia have beaten New Zealand 30 points to 6.